women are often seen as symbols of beauty, grace, and compassion. But let's be real. Under the right conditions, they can be anything but fragile. History and modern times have shown us that some women are not just dangerous, they're downright terrifying. Whether it's outsmarting their enemies, taking charge in violent confrontations, or leading with an iron fist, these women have proven they're a force to be reckoned with. From masterminds to merciless killers, today we're counting down 15 women who have redefined what it means to be dangerous. Ready? Let's get into it. Number 15. La Katrina. Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel, better known as La Katrina, was a cartel leader who managed to mix deadly ambition with a flair for drama. At just 21, she climbed the ranks of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, commanding fear and admiration in equal measure. But what really made her stand out? Her signature style. Dressed in skull makeup and lavish outfits, she turned herself into a living symbol of the Day of the Dead. But behind the bold fashion was a lady unafraid of violence. La Katrina's cartel activities included everything from drug trafficking to kidnappings, making her one of Mexico's most feared criminals. Her life came to a sudden end during a police shootout in 2020. Despite her violent legacy, her image still lingers in pop culture, an unsettling mix of admiration and infamy. It's proof that even in death, some figures refuse to be forgotten. Number 14. Lady Death. Lyudmila Pavlichenko didn't earn the nickname Lady Death for nothing. As one of the most lethal snipers in history, she struck fear into the hearts of Nazi soldiers during World War II. In just a few months, she racked up over 200 confirmed kills, proving that small stature and good looks can be incredibly deceptive. Initially dismissed by the Soviet army for not looking tough enough, Lyudmila quickly silenced her critics with her deadly precision. She was so effective that the Nazis tried to bribe her to switch sides. Unsurprisingly, she didn't even blink at the offer. Lyudmila's career wasn't without its challenges. She survived multiple injuries, including shrapnel wounds and a gunshot. Eventually, Stalin himself ordered her evacuation to ensure she wouldn't fall into enemy hands. With a confirmed tally of 309 kills, her name still stands as a symbol of resilience and deadly determination. You wouldn't want to be on her bad side. Number 13. Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory might sound like a name out of a gothic horror novel, but trust me, her real story is even darker. This Hungarian countess took the idea of self-care to terrifying extremes. She believed that bathing in the blood of young girls would keep her youthful forever. Yep, that's her secret to glowing skin, straight out of a nightmare. But Elizabeth didn't just stop at her disturbing beauty routine. She lured young women to her castle under the pretense of offering jobs, only to turn them into victims of unspeakable cruelty. And if the rumors are true, she didn't just bathe in their blood. She sometimes ate her victims too. Her horrific acts eventually caught up with her. Though her noble status spared her from execution, she spent the rest of her life bricked up in a small room. Her accomplices? Let's just say they didn't get off so easy. A chilling reminder that even the most powerful can't escape their sins. All right, now let's talk about number 12. Jager tropen operatives. When you think of elite soldiers, you might picture grizzled men with battle scars. Enter the Jager tropen operatives, Norway's all-female special forces unit that will shatter every stereotype you've got. These women aren't just tough, they're the epitome of resilience, discipline, and skill. Their training reads like a survivalist's nightmare, parachuting into frozen tundras, trekking miles through icy terrain, and sneaking onto enemy ships to plant explosives, all without being detected. And no, they don't get a free pass because they're women. The expectations are brutal, and the pass rate is punishingly low. They train alongside male paratroopers, fostering a competitive spirit that's as icy as the terrain they operate in. From scuba diving to precision marksmanship, these women carry their own weight, and then some. Jager tropen proves that toughness isn't about gender, it's about grit. Let's just say you wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of one of their missions. Number 11. Aileen Wuornos. Aileen Wuornos' life was anything but ordinary, and her story is as dark as it gets. Born into chaos, she grew up bouncing between foster homes, motels, and the streets. By her 20s, she was working as a prostitute, but her encounters with men often turned fatal. Between 1989 and 1990, Aileen killed 7 men, claiming it was in self-defense. Her reasoning? Each victim allegedly tried to assault her. However, her confession in 1991 revealed a different story. She admitted the murders were for financial gain, not survival. Despite her violent past, Aileen's story became the subject of fascination, even inspiring the film Monster, where Charlize Theron portrayed her. Ultimately, she was sentenced to death and executed by lethal injection in 2002. Aileen's life is a tragic mix of hardship and horror, leaving behind a legacy that's as infamous as it is haunting. Number 10. The White Widow. Samantha Lewthwaite's transformation from a suburban British girl to an international fugitive is the stuff of spy thrillers. Married to one of the men behind the 2005 London bombings, Samantha initially played the grieving widow. But that sympathy act didn't last long. Authorities soon uncovered her role in planning the attack. Realizing the walls were closing in, Samantha fled to Kenya with a fake passport. From there, she reportedly orchestrated multiple terror attacks, including the infamous Westgate Mall massacre in Nairobi. Dubbed the White Widow, she became one of the world's most wanted terrorists, with agencies like MI6 and the CIA hunting her. Though rumors swirl about her current whereabouts, many believe she's hiding in Somalia, still evading capture. Samantha's story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most unassuming faces hide the darkest intentions. Number 9. Godmother of Cocaine. Griselda Blanco wasn't just dangerous, she was downright terrifying. Born in 1943 in Colombia, she started her life of crime early. At age 11, she reportedly kidnapped a child and shot him when the ransom wasn't paid. That was just the beginning of her criminal empire. By the 1980s, Griselda had earned her infamous nickname, the Godmother of Cocaine, as she ruled the Miami drug trade with ruthless efficiency. Her rivals, either displaced or eliminated. Her reputation during the cocaine cowboy wars sent shivers down Miami's spine. Known for her violent streak, she allegedly orchestrated hundreds of murders, proving she was as cold as the product she peddled. The DEA finally caught up with her in 1985, ending her reign with an arrest at her home. Though she served her time and returned to Colombia, her life ended the same way she lived it, violently. Griselda's legacy is a chilling reminder of how far ambition can go when it's fueled by blood and power. Number 8. Paige VanZant. Paige VanZant may look like the girl next door, but step into the octagon with her, and you're in for a world of pain. As a UFC strawweight fighter, Paige was known for her fearless attitude and ability to take a hit and give it back tenfold. What made Paige stand out wasn't just her fighting skills, but her resilience. She'd walk into matches, take a brutal beating, and still smile at her opponents with her bloodied face. Her grappling skills and relentless pressure made her a nightmare for anyone unlucky enough to face her. After leaving the UFC, Paige tried her hand at bare-knuckle boxing and professional wrestling, proving that she's not afraid to keep pushing boundaries. With her grit and determination, Paige has shown she's a fighter in every sense of the word, not someone you'd want to cross in or out of the ring. Number 7. Melissa Calderone. Melissa Calderone wasn't your average cartel operative. She was a mastermind of chaos. Known as La China, Melissa started small in the Sinaloa cartel, But when betrayal struck and her boyfriend was murdered, she decided revenge was a dish best served with bullets. Melissa formed her own cartel, Los Antrax, and didn't hesitate to unleash violence on her enemies and anyone who stood in her way. Over a decade, she's accused of orchestrating over 150 murders, turning the once idyllic Baja California into a war zone. She had a chilling ability to blend strategy with savagery, making her one of the deadliest figures in Mexico's cartel wars. Her downfall came when authorities finally caught her at an airport in 2015. Melissa now spends her days in a maximum security prison. Her story is one of ambition and ruthlessness, a stark reminder that the desire for power can turn anyone into a monster. Number 6. Sergeant Lee Ann Hester. Lee Ann Hester didn't just break barriers, she bulldozed them. A small-town Kentucky girl with a big heart, Lee Ann never sought fame or recognition. But when her convoy was ambushed in Iraq in 2005, she showed the world what true courage looks like. Outnumbered and surrounded, Lee Ann led her team into the fight, clearing trenches and engaging in close combat that would make even the toughest soldiers pause. She didn't just survive, she dominated. Her leadership and bravery earned her the Silver Star, making her the first woman since World War II to receive the honor for direct combat. What makes her story special is her quiet strength. Lee Ann never boasted about her heroics. She simply did what needed to be done. She's proof that heroism doesn't come from bravado, but from the willingness to stand tall when everything's falling apart. You'd want her in your corner, no question. Number 5. Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs didn't just fight her way to the top. She knocked the door off its hinges. Growing up, Freddie faced relentless bullying, but instead of letting it crush her, she channeled her frustration into becoming one of the fiercest fighters the world has ever seen. By the time she stepped into the ring, she was ready to unleash her rage. And boy, did she deliver. Known as the most dangerous woman in the world, Freddie wasn't just fast. She was a human tornado. Her punches came with the kind of force that could make anyone think twice about stepping into the ring with her. And she wasn't just a fighter, she was a cop too. Apparently, she thought dodging punches was easier than dealing with criminals on the streets. With 20 wins under her belt, Freddie retired in 1998, but her legacy remains a powerful message. Underestimate her at your own risk. Number 4. Amelia Dyer. Amelia Dyer may not be a household name, but her crimes will make your skin crawl. Operating in 19th century England, Amelia presented herself as a kind soul who took in unwanted babies. In reality, she was a monster. Instead of caring for the children, Amelia let them starve or gave them opium syrup to silence their cries. Eventually, she found an even quicker and more horrifying way to dispose of them, tossing their bodies into rivers. By the time she was caught, authorities had pulled dozens of tiny victims from the Thames. Though she was only charged with one murder, estimates suggest Amelia killed as many as 400 children. Her execution in 1896 brought her gruesome story to an end, but her legacy remains a haunting reminder of the evil that can hide behind a friendly face. Number 3. The Limping Lady. Virginia Hall didn't let anything or anyone stand in her way. An American spy during World War II, she worked for both the British SOE and the American OSS, even earning the nickname the Limping Lady due to her wooden leg, which she nicknamed Cuthbert. Virginia's work was legendary. Despite her disability, she infiltrated Nazi-occupied France, set up resistance networks, and sabotaged German operations. Her efforts were so effective that the Gestapo named her one of their most wanted spies, calling her the most dangerous Allied agent. After the war, Virginia's contributions were recognized with the Distinguished Service Cross, making her one of the most decorated female spies in history. Her story is proof that determination and courage can overcome any obstacle, even when you're literally running on one leg. Number 2. Irina Gaidamachuk. Irina Gaidamachuk, dubbed the Krasnodar Monster, holds the grim title of Russia's worst female serial killer. For a decade, this seemingly ordinary mother of two committed heinous crimes that left authorities baffled. The police assumed a man was behind the murders of elderly women in Krasnodar, never suspecting Irina, a married woman who blended seamlessly into society. Her methods were as deceptive as they were brutal. Irina would approach elderly women, offering to help them carry groceries or run errands. Once inside their homes, she'd strike with a vase or a hammer and rob them of their possessions. Over time, killing became an addiction for her, culminating in the murders of 17 women. In 2010, her reign of terror ended when one of her victims miraculously survived and identified her. Arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison, Irina's lack of remorse was chilling. She often smiled in court, a haunting reminder of the evil she carried behind her mask of normalcy. All right, guys, now let's talk about Number 1. Maria Liordi. Maria Liordi, known as La Madrina, the Godmother, was a force to be reckoned with in the Italian underworld. Raised in a mafia family in Naples, Maria's ascent to power began in 1993 when her brothers and husband were arrested. Taking the reins of the Liordi clan, she became the first female leader of the Camorra, Naples' most notorious mafia. Under her leadership, the Camorra became more organized and ruthless. Maria modernized operations, from drug trafficking to extortion, and even established alliances to strengthen the clan's dominance. She also oversaw a deadly turf war that left at least 120 people dead. Maria's cunning made her one of Italy's most wanted criminals, evading capture for years. However, in 2001, authorities finally apprehended her. Despite her arrest, Maria's legacy as a powerful, calculating, and dangerous mafia boss endures. She shattered the glass ceiling of the criminal world, proving that power knows no gender. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.